Greetings, residents. Welcome to another session of Talk of the Town with Dick Thurston, your town supervisor. And I want to welcome you all to this viewing today, and also want to mention that during today's discussion I'll have a more of casual discussion talking about a few local events, of course, about the Ukraine, our parade that's coming up, and even the Monday board meeting, which will be toward the last Monday's board meeting, which will be toward the end of this taping. But first, it's exciting to see that spring is nearing us. It's coming soon, although the next few days will be colder at night. But I think as we look at spring, think about your plans of how you want to use our parks, recreation facilities. They'll open to all, and we'll be having more discussions at the board level on what you'd like to see. I had a nice discussion today with our recreation director, Jessica Fulton, who does really an amazing job. We always need volunteers, by the way, so please volunteer for helping us in activities. But Jessica has some interesting programs that will be new. In fact, she just told me today that she has a new Dungeons and Dragons club that will be held at Schlott House at the building there for our young folks, which we're always looking for new activities. So any ideas that you have, please let Jessica know. Yesterday I spent some time in New York City. Actually, I was meeting with a couple of potential investors in our area, hopefully perhaps out near the airport, but also throughout Dutchess County, and had some very good discussions about what would be light industry types of investments. And related to that, we as we look at our Alpine Commons and some other developments, we'll be focusing on how we allow for more light industry, which result in a number of jobs for our people. But the thing that most concerned me is as I walked back to my office there, in the law firm, I make use of some space. I went by, of course, St. Patrick's Cathedral, and I saw the people coming out from the Lent services, and also was handed a nice prayer for Lent that I posted on on Facebook today. But what really concerned me and disturbed me is seeing the number of homeless people on the streets. Not that they're on the streets of New York, but as people walk by, they avoided those homeless people. They didn't put $1 or 50 cents, whatever, in their basket, and but people deliberately, as they walk straight, they veered around. And I think part of it is, of course, the paranoia, but I think the discomfort that many people feel in not knowing what and how to handle this growing endemic, I think, on our society. And I raise this because I think that in the months ahead we have to be much more conscious of people in need, of reaching out, of helping. And this is, in my mind, going to be partially a result too of the unfortunate and the really, I think, crimes against humanity invasion of the Ukraine. And it really bleeds my heart as one that has made his career out of international matters. And I've studied very closely over the years Russian history, including what used to be the former Soviet bloc. And I think several things come out of it. One is that throughout the world, but certainly starting at the local level, we must make every effort to redefine the meaning of humanity and how we take a more humane approach to our fellow mankind, and how we reach out. We hear that there is not a great homeless problem in our immediate area, but certainly there is in Poughkeepsie and other surrounding cities that we need to do more about. And I think certainly our board we'll be looking at how we handle that more proactively within our town. The Ukraine situation, I think, is a precursor of more difficult times to come. It's not just about Ukraine, but it is about, autocracy, dictatorship, and of further intrusions around the world. As all of you know, my wife is, from Taiwan, and I unfortunately fear that China is making a very close study of how the world reacts to the Ukraine and perhaps preparing its Taiwan playbook. Recently, actually in this week's Hornet newspaper, I penned an op-ed about the Ukraine, and actually wrote that a week ago. And I think that we have to take a greater interest in international affairs, because they will impact all of us, whether it's rising gasoline prices, shortages of foodstuffs, of equipment. This will all happen, part of it by design, part of it just by the misfortune we'll be facing. So what we will be doing within the town is talking about how we can be better prepared and help our residents be better prepared, whether it's digitally, whether it's with programs for assistance as we move forward. But it's very important for all of you to pay attention to some of the international issues and take a more active role in that, whether or not it's through social media, through communications, correspondence with your elected officials at the, let's say, the state legislature, the federal legislator level. Certainly our board members are, I think every one of them is concerned about potential future impact. So please stop and think. I know there's not a lot of newspaper coverage. It has to go on social media, which at times the information is difficult. But I think Ukraine stands for a lot more than just a Russian invasion. So I encourage you all to reach out. If you have any questions, please raise them with me. Talking about reaching out to people, tomorrow, March 4th, as I'm sitting here on March 3rd, is the National Hug a GI Day. I've mentioned that in my personal Facebook page. But start today in reaching out to GIs, veterans, and give them a hug, send a note digitally, to them, and but continue that. I think we're looking at we've been very fortunate in having some very active seniors. Veterans, and certainly seniors too, but veterans led by Kevin Hawthorne in promoting even more of meaningful activities to help our veterans, and there's a lot more coming. We do have in April our annual 5K event. There'll be more out there. I did mention it in Southern Dutchess News, and you'll be seeing more information as the time gets closer to that event in middle of April. I think it's April 16th, I believe, is the date. Another important event will be the first live event since this time in 2020, just before we had the lockdown, the St. Patty's Day Parade, Dutchess County St. Patty's Day Parade, which is held in the village along Main Street, steps off this Saturday. And hopefully the weather will be nice. The cold, extreme cold, will be hopefully gone, but probably still cool in the upper 30s and lower 40s. But it's going to be a great event. The town, works closely with the parade committee and the village. We'll be videotaping it as we have in the past. And the step off for the parade starts around 1 o'clock. So come on out, line the streets in the village along Main Street. We'll start the step off up around the rural cemetery. And there'll be a reviewing stand. In the past, it's been right in front of the library, the Grinnell Library, and I imagine it will be here, there again this year. Bill Beal, our councilman in the 1st Ward, will be the MC, I believe, right, Mike?
Yep.
So please come on out, enjoy it, enjoy the nice day. It's the first real activity that we've had since mask mandates have been lifted, although please, be careful. The virus is still out there. We still have cases in the village and in the town and in the county. Use some common sense, and don't worry if you feel you really want to wear a mask to protect yourself or to protect someone else. Feel free to do that, but be careful. Common sense, I think, is important. So again, step off this Saturday. That's March the 5th in the village of Wappinger Falls. Step off starting at the Wappinger Rural Cemetery, and we hope to see you there. I'll be in the parade. I know our elected officials will be there, many others. I believe the county executive will be there. I think Senator Serino and others will be participating. So it's a good time to get out and see everyone, hopefully most people without masks. And I look forward to seeing you then and there. Right in front of me, you'll see that I've put in the vase 2 sunflowers. These are smaller sunflowers, but the sunflower is the national flower of the Ukraine. It's one of my favorite that I have in our garden every year, and I think the more we can show support, whether it's through the colored flag, or I have a tie that's fairly close to the national colors that I'm wearing today. A sunflower is a beautiful flower of radiance and hope, going forward. So please, if you want to buy one to show, to display, I believe that our local supermarkets have them. I bought these at Adams, which has nice quality, flowers. So again, as I mentioned at the outset, please pay attention more to our national news and show your concern about the inhumanity to man and woman that is being shown. The pictures of the murders of young kids, children, is just very disturbing, among many other things. I just want to finish up with a brief discussion about our board meeting last Monday and going forward. We had a couple of issues that are very important to the future of the town and development that require, discussion. And my purpose for Monday's meeting was to present, before we even consider any resolution, we have received at the town board level a request for a development that would be building some new apartment buildings in the town along Old Hopewell Road. It's before the town board because there is a rezoning request, and even more importantly in my mind, a request to be added into the water and sewer district so that water and sewer lines can be extended, not just to that area, but to provide the foundation for us to extend further in the area. The fundamental issue that we're facing is how to balance the older quality of life that many people have come to love, to appreciate, and move here with elements today that require sustainable development while still addressing the quality of life. So what the board and I did on Monday was to open for dialogue, for discussion, without any proposal for resolutions on that board meeting. And we don't know when or if that may come back. It depends on the developer's interest for that particular property, but it's to have an open dialogue. Democracy depends on open and peaceful and friendly dialogue. I consider that what occurred on a Monday night is to be a great example of, first and foremost, the qualities of our residents in being interested in what happens, and then for allowing that sort of dialogue to occur. So we heard a number of concerns from our residents, and then the developer of the proposed project was able to respond. And I think we heard clear discussion of issues. There was also, I think, in the responses, a clear clarification of what had been some misunderstandings of the nature of the project, and others, I think, are real, issues, very real issues. But we have a challenge in our town of how do we sustain our existing infrastructure, such as water and sewer. Our schools are facing a real crisis. People don't realize it, but since 2008-9, I've received the full figures from the school board. We've seen an 18% drop-off in enrollment in the Wappinger Central School District. And, during that period of time, just since 2016, there's been an 8% drop-off. Enrollment is way down. We're at the point where we're almost at 10,000 students, where we were once at 13,000. That means that there is pressure on the school district on how it funds, pays, operates the district and all of the facilities that it has, including the programs. We will hear in April. I've invited School Superintendent Dwight Bonk. He'll be coming by to speak to the town board and our town residents about next year's school budget, that will be coming out soon. School taxes that are very important to all of us. And I think actually report on some of the significant things that he and his administration have done to reduce those taxes, reduce the costs that are out there. So this is part of our ongoing program to bring more information to you. We'll be having our tax assessor also come before the board to talk about our challenges and opportunities as he looks at the new tax assessments going forward. So, what we're trying to do even more of than I've done in the past is more open communication dialogue with you. We're, of course, have one of the more successful programs when it comes to social media, cable, vision, and the like, and that will continue to do and hopefully grow. So, please come on out, attend our board meetings, listen, send any questions you've had. I've had a few residents who watched the meeting on Monday night send me questions. A couple scheduled to come by and meet with me so they can learn more about, let's say, water and sewer and how this proposal could enable more water and sewer connections with our residents within the area. So please stay tuned for the developments. Don't forget, Hug a GI, a veteran, virtually, if not live. Come out to our parade on this Saturday, the 5th, and please mark in your calendar the annual 5K run walk that will be, along the rail trail. The parking will be at the Van Wyck entrance to the rail trail, but we'll have a lot more information going ahead. And please say your prayers for the Ukrainian people and the people throughout Europe and the world. Thank you very much. Please take care and enjoy the spring weather as it starts to bloom around us. Thank you and good day.